Welcome to the AACFB's 2025 Meet the Funder webinar series. My name is Monica Harper. I'm the Executive Director of the AACFB, and I will be your host. Our presenters today are Caitlin Keefe and Ian Mayer from TimePayment. TimePayment is both a funding source member and a gold sponsor of the AACFB, and I'd like to thank them for their support of the association. Before I turn it over to the TimePayment team, I'd like to go over a few items to make this webinar more enjoyable and informative for everyone. During the presentation, you should see a Q&A box that will allow you to ask questions. If you have any questions during the presentation, please submit them in the box and they will be answered by the end of the webinar. Please reserve the chat box for communication between attendees. The entire webinar should take no more than 30 to 45 minutes. And for those of you who would like to review it at a later date, it will be posted on the 2025 Meet the Funder page of the website, and it will be emailed out to the AACFB membership. At this time, I will turn it over to Caitlin and Ian. It is all yours.
Thank you so much, Monica. We're very happy to be here today, and thank you for everybody who's attending. We'd love to tell you a little bit more about time payment, and hopefully we can be a good fit to help some more people out these days. So first, a little bit about time payment. We've been around for over 35 plus years, and originally our credit model was developed at MIT back in the 80s, and it's gotten us through some thick and thin through the years, some ups and downs in the economy, and it's been our saving grace, really. It's helped us stay in business, and we've tweaked it a little bit over the years for inflation, but for the most part, it's a tried and true credit model that's been able to get through thick and thin times. We work with established businesses all the way down to brand new startups, and we're a micro ticket lender, starting out at about $500. And then we'll go up to 1.5 million. So we truly want to be a one-stop shop to be able to help you out with all your customers.
So the time payment advantage, we really are, like Ian said, known for being a micro lender, but we are able to do deals larger than micro size. So we are trying to get the word out there that we can cover as low as $500, but of course up to 1.5 million. Ultimately depends on how strong those credit profiles and financials are. So really just depends once we start getting into the application view to see how much we can really approve. We do pride ourselves on fast funding here. We are able to fund most vendors within 24 hours of a deal booking. That is for ACH payments. We do same day ACH funds on anything that books before 4 p.m. Eastern time. And then any deal that books after 4 p.m. Eastern time, those ACH funds are released the following business day. If a vendor's not set up for ACH, which doesn't seem like many are at this point, but we do have some vendors on checks. We do only cut those twice a week. So we definitely recommend ACH funding for faster funding. A little bit more about ourselves here. We do instant approvals on deals under 25,000. So you should get an approval or decision within, I'd say, a minute of submission most times. We also last year switched over to soft credit pulls for all credit types. Up until last year, we were doing hard pulls for sole proprietorships and partnerships, but we have thankfully moved away from that, and it's soft pulls for everyone now. We can cover startups and challenged credits. The FICO, we are willing to consider as low as 550, depending on, of course, the situation. And then we do have different discounting programs here. We have a non-title discounting program that is available for your lease agreements. And then the title discounting program we do offer with EFAs. We're big on e-sign here. We really do love trying to be as paperless as possible. So if you're sending the agreement out for signature through our system, it does go out through DocuSign. And then our portal, we have lots of reporting available in the portal. You can check your funding report each day to verify payments that have already been issued. Another perk of our portals are they are 24/7 access for both brokers and customers. So after the deal funds, the customer also gets access to their own portal. And of course, probably one of the most important parts is commission here. When we're paying out the brokers, we do pay up to 15 points per deal.
And so getting into a little bit about the different industries that we serve, we are generalists. We will work with majority of equipment out there. If it's equipment that's not listed on this list, we're happy to consider it. We do have a small restricted list. We will not work within the with any consumers. So customers do need to have a active business, and we need to be able to verify that in SOS or business license, something like that. We trust that you are working with a customer who has an active business when you submit the application. And then our restricted industries include anything within cannabis. We don't do anything with sale leasebacks, working capital, copiers, computers, ATMs, POS, security, monitoring, water quality, and then 100% software, and then private party sales as well. But outside of those restricted industries, we're happy to consider anything, any and everything. So this year we wanted to give you guys a little peek as to what's new over here. We just launched a commercial drone financing program. The biggest thing to think about here is there must be a remote pilot certificate, and the takeoff weight must be under 55 pounds. And then the maximum term is 36 months, and it's for commercial use only. Obviously, that goes along with us not being able to handle any consumer transactions. And the industries that we'll do this in is open to interpretation. If it makes sense for the business, then we will consider it. If it's just somebody who's looking to film their employee party and get a drone, that's probably not something we'll be able to do. But if it's a realtor that's looking to use it for their business and they're looking to film the houses and get the bird's eye view, that sort of thing, then we would definitely consider it. So these are more considered on a case by case basis, but we're really excited about this new program.
We went live with over the road financing back in, I'd say fall 2023 is when we first started piloting it. We piloted it with a referral program. That is, so when most of you sign up with us, you do become a broker referral partner. All of the deals are booked on TimePayment lease agreements. They're populated in our InfoHub portal. So this program is built for that referral program. It will always be on a TimePayment lease agreement. We do provide 2 to 5 year options on this. We are able to consider a variety of industries. You can see the screenshot on the right side has our titled equipment guidelines. So there are some age, mileage, and hour restrictions depending on the vehicle or trailer type. Outside of that, we're really open to looking at if they have a request for multiple fleets. And the referral program, it's currently limited to 5 credit tiers, and the FICO can go as low as 620, as long as there are some strong financials in a 5-year, or they've had a CDL for 5 years to for us to consider below 650. We do allow warranty to be included in the request up to 10%. We do also, unfortunately, exclude private party sales across all industries, including over the road. But again, this is available for the referral program. So as soon as you sign up with us, you do have access to this program. Just let us know if you'd like to learn more about it. We have some state restrictions. I think we're open to almost all of the states at this point. There's only a few states that we're still restricted on for vehicles. And then I believe for trailers, we're up to 48 states now. So reach out if you have any more questions on that. And then if you are a partner that prefers to discount, we did go live with a discount via discount titled program this year. This is for EFAs. And to get the ball rolling on that, we just need a copy of the EFA you'd like to use, and we can start having our legal team review that to get you into our discount program, or the discount EFA titled program. There are some differences between this and the referral program. The main ones are that the credit term options only go 2 to 4 years, so we unfortunately do not offer 5 years in this one. We do, however, have it open to all 9 credit tiers, and that means the FICO can go as low as a 550. We do also have our security deposits range anywhere from 15 to 40%, depending on how strong that credit profile is. And similar to the referral program, the warranty can be included in the requested amount up to 10% of the cost, and private party sales are also excluded in this program. But if you are already a partner with us and you want to learn more, of course, reach out and we can get the ball rolling on the discount reviews.
And so more into our standard programs outside of the title and the drones. Our referral program is really geared towards you maximizing your sales potential and being a good partner for your vendors. We want to offer you some of the fastest approvals or credit decisions in the industry. So we want you to be able to communicate effectively with your vendor so you can retain that business and keep them happy. So instant credit decisions up to $25,000 through our online portal Info Hub, which you get access to as soon as you're signed up. And we offer some training on that as well, which we'll get into a little bit later. But we get you the credit decisions as fast as possible so you can move on and get that sale complete and move on to the next one. We offer flexible terms where we will take an application with a personal guarantee, or we will also do it for corp-only transactions. For a corp-only transaction, we need a minimum of 3 years time in business. We also have a dealer API, which if you're interested in getting that set up, we can get our systems talking to each other. So you can work out of your system and you don't have to go into our portal to input an application, and it can really make the process very seamless. We pay same day again with ACH, excuse me, ACH, and you can build in up to 15 points commission on the applications. With our streamlined process, you can utilize your own DocuSign, or you could utilize ours through our system as well. We have 2 main programs that we offer. First is our fair market value, which is standard lease terms, 24 to 60 months. And then at the end of the lease term, the customer can own the equipment for a fair market value not to exceed 10%. Those can go into a month-to-month if the customer hasn't made a decision as to whether they want to buy or if they wanted to upgrade. If they want to purchase the equipment, they can do that at any point in time. And then we also have our lease to own program, which is very popular these days. With this, basically you chop off 3 months from the full year lease terms. So instead of a 36-month lease with a fair market value buyout capped at 10%, it would technically be a 33-month lease with a 3-month buyout, with a buyout equal to 3 months, which is payable over 90 days. So after 36 total payments, the customer would own the equipment, and that's the same for all credit grades. So the fair market value and the lease to own are our 2 main programs. We do also have a specialized turbo lease program, where essentially you take the cost of the funding, including your commission, divided by 12, and then the customer would make 14 total payments. And then at the end of the term, the customer would own the equipment, or they can choose to return the equipment and not make that less payment.
And then we built this slide out to give you guys a little visual of what the journey is for the brokers, all of our third-party originators. So of course, we do need every vendor to be approved. We are not able to do any private party sales here. So it could start with you submitting the vendor application or the customer application, really up to you which one you prefer. We do have some partners that kind of look at it as why submit the vendor if the customer's not approved, and vice versa. Why submit the customer if I can't get the vendor approved? So whichever one you want to do first is fine. We just do always need the vendor to get approved before that lease agreement goes out. Our review time for vendors is typically completed within 24 to 48 hours. More often than not, I see a lot of these approvals going out within a few business hours of us receiving the application. It does, of course, depend on what time of day we're getting that application and how many are in queue ahead of it. Mondays tend to be our slowest review day as the team's working through that weekend backlog, but they are always crunching through as quickly as they can, so they're always working through the list as quickly as possible. For the customer applications, you again can always get an instant approval on applications under 25,000. Over 25,000, they may need a manual review to get an approval. There are sometimes when applications under 25,000 also need a manual review, but typically manual reviews are completed within 2 to 4 business hours. So again, not really looking at that much time. It does, of course, get a little bit longer if the deal's larger and they have to review financials. There's more for credit to dig into, so those reviews can take a little bit longer than 2 to 4 hours. We do, as soon as you are approved and a broker partner of ours, you get access to our InfoHub pipeline. And that is where you do submit the customer and the vendor applications. We do send out email notifications every step of the way, so we are keeping you informed of where the applications are at all times. You're also able to hop into the portal and check on it yourself, even shoot a message over to the credit or the funding teams, and see where the deal's at any time. I did mention earlier, we do really love paperless here. So again, if you're sending the lease agreement through our system, that will go out through DocuSign, goes to the customer. As soon as they sign, it comes directly back to us, and then we get it logged for funding to review as quickly as possible. Depending on how the vendor is approved, we may be able to release funds before the equipment is delivered. If we do require verification of delivery before we release funds, then at that point we would have to do a verification call. But it's a quick call, more so to verify that they have the equipment, it's working, and they're satisfied, and then we're able to go ahead and release that money. You are also able to close applications even faster with our dealer API, which we'll get more into in the next couple slides. And this page is just to give you an overview of the customer's journey, how the lessee sees it from their point of view. They are getting that application over to you. You are coming back to them with the approval. At that point, you're able to present customer payment options. So they can go anywhere from the Turbo Lease program up to 5 years, depending on what they qualify for. Once they make a selection, you're back in the portal creating that lease agreement. If you're sending it through our system, they are getting that automatically. They are getting an email from us to sign it electronically. As soon as they complete, it comes right back to us, and then you'll receive a booked email to let you know that the deal has been reviewed. The whole funding package is good to go, and funds are being released.
And one of the biggest things with us is we want to keep you informed every step of the way. If you're confused as to what's going on, Caitlin and myself are both available to get on the phone and make sure that you understand what's needed to move a transaction forward. But we let you know in real time once a credit decision has been made through our approval notifications, through the email, and you can always check those online in the portal as well. So credit and funding will send out notifications every step of the way, so you're always informed on the process. And if an application is not approved, we give you an idea of kind of what it might not be approved for. And Caitlin and I can get into those more detail with you to try and make that transaction work. We will always typically take a look at cosigners if an application is not approved. To qualify as a cosigner, customer would either need to be a verifiable business partner or a family member. So if they're a legal family member and they're not a verifiable business partner, then if the credit qualifies, we just need proof of income showing that it's a payment they can afford. So we just need a recent pay stub or previously filed tax return. All of this is through our InfoHub dealer portal, which gives you access 24/7, so you can submit and track applications 24/7. We offer one-on-one training, and then we also have on-demand video tutorials. So if you wanted to do it at your own speed, you could go through the tutorials and learn a little bit more about how to work within the system. And then if you need more than that, Caitlin and I are always available to jump onto a one-on-one training. We can screen share with you and walk you through getting an application submitted, seeing what's going on with the credit decision, adding additional documentation for review with credit, creating the documents, tracking the funding, seeing how the vendor's set up. You can really manage your entire business through this portal, and it gives you an idea in real time as to what you need to do to move a transaction forward and ultimately get you paid, which is what it's all about.
And then this year we are proud to roll out a new dealer API. We do have a few partners that have been set up on our legacy API for the last couple of years. We've made a lot of progress in the API though. Ultimately, we know a lot of you brokers out there, you're working with multiple lenders. I'm sure the last thing you want to do is probably log into half a dozen portals a day to check on your applications. So we fully understand you'd rather be in your own CRM platform. Our API integration will let you do that. And some of the highlights with the new dealer API is it does not only let you automatically submit the application to us electronically, usually just a push of the button from your CRM system over to ours, but you will get real-time status updates. It will tell you immediately if the application is approved, not approved, or pending a manual review. From there, the upgraded dealer API now lets you generate a quote and select it right through API integration. So again, you really don't have to get into our portal much at all anymore. It does also let you populate the lease agreement. So we've really picked up trying to help you guys automate as much as you want to, and while being able to stay in your own CRM system. You also now can upload documents, send documents to us electronically. So again, another reason you don't have to pop into our portal to manually upload things there. And it lets you remove, add, replace guarantors at any time without having to resubmit the application entirely. So our main goal is to really help you guys move your deals as quickly as possible, but also as efficiently as possible. We know really don't want to bog you down with multiple applications for the same deal. But the new API is really great. Ultimately, you're really only hopping into our portal for submitting the vendor application at that point, and hopefully in the future we can have this also integrated in there. So we do want to thank you all for your time today. This last page is our contact information. We do have a third person coming to our team now, Ashley Molina. Some of you may have talked to her already in a phone call. She has actually been with TimePayment since 2018. So we really do have a senior crew for you guys. I personally have been here since December 2014, so I'm about 10 and a half years in. Ian's got 5 years on me. He's been here 15 years. So really reach out anytime you have questions. We've seen a lot over the years. We're very confident we can help you guys get your deals moved as quickly as possible.
If you have a question, now's the time to type that into the Q&A box and we will get those answered. So first question is, do you have a program for startups? If so, what industries?
So we have a program for startups across all industries. It depends on the credit profile that gets sent to us. Obviously, for a startup, we're going to want to see a little bit of a stronger credit profile than we would for an established business. But we do have a startup program up to 50,000 across all industries.
Great. Do you do vacuum trailer for startups?
I don't see why we wouldn't.
Yeah.
It's yeah, we would be able to handle a vacuum trailer for a startup, as long as it fit within the age and mileage restrictions and hour restrictions that we had shown on the screen earlier. But we can send over our titled guidelines if you reach out to us directly, and we can definitely explore that together.
Great. Is the state of Georgia approved for truck and trailer leasing?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes, we've approved for both.
Great. You may have mentioned this and I missed it, but does TimePayment offer pre-funding?
We do.
Yes.
Yeah.
We
Yes.
do. It is vendor driven, so it depends on how the vendor is approved. We have pre-funding levels of 50, 75, and 100%, depending on the vendor's credit quality. And we also have a retail funding program. So if a vendor has an online shopping cart or a retail storefront, they'll actually get paid 100% once the document package gets cleared from funding.
Okay. I think this is a clarification for the vacuum trailer question. He said the deal is for $65K 50/50 payment to the vendor. That sound like doable?
Yeah, why don't we set up a call to talk about the details of that? But it definitely sounds like something that we could potentially take care of, depending on what the credit quality looks like. Or it may end up being a partial approval where the customer would need to kind of come up some cash down to pay the vendor. But there's definitely a possibility there.
Okay. How can we establish a broker agreement with TimePayment?
You can apply anytime on timepayment.com. There is a brokers tab, I believe. Let me pull it up real quick to confirm. Yep, so right when you open timepayment.com, it opens with the top of the page saying time payment. And then we have sellers for vendors and brokers. So click on the broker section. And once you get to that page, there's a green button, become a vendor, become a broker. That will take you to our broker application. Once the broker application is received, our credit team will review it. And then the broker agreement is in that application. So let us know if you have any questions on that.
Can you send an application for a client approval without a vendor sign up?
Yes, you can get the application approved for the customer before you get the vendor set up with us. We do recommend submitting the vendor at the same time, just so you're not getting slowed down by waiting for a vendor approval, because you will need to have the vendor approved before you create the documents for that transaction. There are a few different document packages that would get sent out depending on the vendor setup. But you can absolutely get the customer approved before you have the vendor approved with us. And once you do have the vendor approved with us, they're set up in the system and you don't need to do it on every transaction. If you work with a vendor multiple times, once you submit them once, they're in the system. Unless they change their corporate structure, you don't need to resubmit their information to us.
Okay. Can you finance a fleet of pickup trucks?
I believe we can. Depends on, of course, how strong the credit profiles are. I did have one partner recently did 2 trucks back to back. I know we're currently limited to 1 truck per agreement. So they had to do those deals back to back, but we were able to do 2 trucks in a row.
Do you offer a prepayment discount if the client wants to pay off early? If so, is it a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 or net PV of remaining rents with discount?
So a customer can pay off the contract early, and we will always quote them a buyout at any point in time. They will see a small discount typically, but it's not an advertised discount. It's going to depend on how many payments they made into it. A lot of the discount just comes in the form of paying the taxes early. So it is a structure. These are contracts that are structured as a lease. So it is. They see a lot of the benefit of just paying the monthly payment throughout the contract. But if they want to pay off the contract early, they can, and they do get a slight discount to do so.
Yep, just like I think up to 4% is our max.
I think I'm reading this right. Does the applicant have to be a corporation?
Yeah, well, there does need to be a business connected to it. We're not able to do consumer, but we can do corp only or a commercial application with a personal guarantor connected to it.
The business structure can be a sole prop. It can be an LLC corporation. They just need to have an active business within the state that they're operating.
Okay. For our points, do we get it approved with the borrow or do we just tell you how many points to charge?
You basically submit the application for the equipment cost plus whatever you want to charge for points. So we recommend you just submit the application for 15% over the equipment cost, and then you have the flexibility to adjust how many points you want to charge. You basically just sell the monthly payment to the customer, and they never see the amount that you're making on a transaction. You just give them the monthly payment that they qualify for at the term that they want to move forward with, and then they do not see how many points you intend to charge. Your vendors don't see how much you charge for points either. That's purely you selling the payment, including the points that you've built in.
Okay. Do you have any clawbacks?
I know our discounting program, I believe, has a first payment default clawback, but the referral program, not typically. Of course, there are the very rare cases where if a vendor's pre-funded and the delivery never takes place, then we may have to ask for any pre-funding we released back at that point.
So you don't do electronics like computer, phone systems, security systems, is that correct?
That is correct.
Unfortunately.
Okay.
And then I did want to circle back to the pickup truck question. I realized afterwards that it does say pickup trucks. We are just a little case by case on pickup trucks as long as it makes sense for the business request. So common example is if it's a landscaper that needs the pickup truck to haul a trailer around in, that is something we could consider. But it is just depends on what the pickup truck uses for.
Gotcha. All right. Well, let me give it just a second. I don't see any other questions, but I'll give it just a second in case there's one more. EV charger equipment.
I think that's another case by case industry. We can do it. Just depends on where the charger is probably being placed, what type of charger it is. So there's a little bit more to review in those requests.
Okay. Will you fund multiple vendor deals?
Yes, we will absolutely do multiple vendor deals. And there's a specific way you'd need to document it. But we can definitely get into that if you do have a multi-vendor deal, and we can show you how to do that. But that's something that we can easily do.
Yeah, I've got a deal right now in the works. There's 5 vendors on it, so we're definitely willing to do multi.
Let's say that qualifies. All right. What about HVAC systems for a business?
Yep, and we do not require that they own the business, not the business, the building. That's a common question. So we can do them. We do not require that they own the building.
Okay. All right. Well, every time I say there's no more questions, one of them pops up. So we have,
and we're available. The contact information is at the end of the slideshow. So after the call, I think you share this with all the attendees. So if anybody wants to reach out, feel free. We're more than happy to jump on a call and dig into some details.
yes. All right. Well, with that, we will wrap things up. I want to say a big thanks to all our participants, especially our valued funding source member and gold sponsor, TimePayment. Thanks for a great job. We invite everyone to meet with TimePayment in person at the 2024 or 2025 Commercial Financing Expo coming up in Austin, Texas in September. So we hope to see everybody there. And thanks again. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks.